It was springtime, and bursts of color began to fill the forest as thousands of new lives were beginning.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Tennille and I take a look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Whitney.
I'm Tennille.
And that would be true, but we messed up.
Burp, 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 burp.
So story time. Today we were supposed to be looking at the Pannonia, Hungary film, Son of the White Mare.
Yeah.
And when we went to watch the movie, we watched the movie and we're like, that was interesting. And then we realized, that wasn't Son of the White Mare. That was Son of the Miraculous Hind by Pannonia Films of Hungary from 2002. So we watched the wrong movie.
In our defense, we thought that, there really aren't a whole lot of white horses in this movie. But both of us were like, well, maybe it's a translation thing. There are these, deer that keep showing up. So maybe,
And it's, super artsy and trippy and stuff, which is something Pannonia is very well known for.
Well, and it, fits the time period that we're, watching these films, for something historical but trippy,
It felt like it could work for the movie that we thought it was. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, we actually go to start writing down our notes, and I look up the movie, and I see the synopsis, and I'm like, that's not what we watched. It was a little trippy, but that is not what happened. And I'm like, wait, I think we watched the wrong movie. And you looked at the synopsis, and you're like, yeah.
That was the wrong movie. And then I went and did a little bit more research, and it's like, yeah, that was just straight up the wrong movie. So that's why there was no episode last week, because we didn't have time to watch another movie and then record our thoughts on it.
So anyway, this week we watched Volk.
Vic?
Volk.
The Little Fox. Also from Pannonia Films of Hungary.
Yeah. Different team, though.
Definitely a different team, because the quality was worse. But before we talk about this movie, I want to say... I got a couple of reminders here. Reminder number one, we are about halfway through 1981, so if you have not yet thought of or...
If you have the shorts or TV shows from 1981 that you want to make sure to send to us, be sure to go to the video in this playlist at the top so that you can recommend us shorts and shows, because we're going to be watching those soon.
Yes. We're halfway through the year, so we need those in soon.
Mm-hmm.
Reminder, below this video, there is a list of all the movies we are watching for this year. Please double check that what you recommend is not on that list.
Yes.
Also do a little bit of Google searching that the thing that you're recommending came out in the year 1981.
Yeah.
Those couple steps will save us a lot of time.
Yes.
Also, I want to say that if you want to directly support us, and all the stuff that we do.
If you love Animation Pilgrimage or the other content that we create, we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
And we appreciate anyone who helps us out via Patreon, because YouTube is not good to creators.
YouTube is not good to creators and only gets us so much money. But
Of course, only donate if you can.
Yes.
But we appreciate any, donations that people do.
Even
make.
$1 a month.
Yep,
it
and it
would
gets
be
you access
fantastic.
to the Discord server and everything. But anyway.
All right, let's actually
do all this because there's not a whole lot to say about this movie.
This film was not good.
No. It is what you think of when you think of bottom of the barrel children's animated film.
Now, I want to be slightly fair and say that we watched the English dubbed version of the movie under the title of The Little Fox. But I think there's not enough difference there to say that, watching the movie, it didn't feel like there was any obvious points where they changed the story.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, they made it slightly less graphic, maybe, but even still, it's pretty obvious what goes down in this movie.
Yeah. So, synopsis.
Synopsis time. Vic.
In the English version, they changed his name to Vic. So, The movie we watched, his name is Vic, and I think the movie is just called The Littlest Fox.
The little fox.
The little fox.
Anyways, he's born into a family of foxes. Who could have seen that coming?
It'd be weird if it was like a family of bears.
Yeah. One night his dad goes out hunting and he follows him out there and then he's told to go home. But he gets sidetracked and follows a frog off to a lake. The dad, in the meantime, tricks a dog, kills a rooster, and starts to take it home. But then a hunter catches on to him. He loses the bird and the hunter follows him back to his home and everyone dies.
Yeah.
They don't show it, but it's pretty obvious what happened.
Well, they show like, oh, the hunter's there. We're going to have to dig him out. And then it just cuts.
The dog literally just digs in there.
Yeah, and then it just cuts to Vic going back home. And he's like, where'd everybody go? And you just see like the tree that they were burrowed under is like destroyed.
Oh no, the tree was fine, but like it was obviously very much so dug out.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no one here and it smells like the hunter.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, your family's dead, kid. And then another fox shows up and he's his uncle and he's like, all right, you're going to live with me now. And then we spend 30 minutes of the uncle being annoyed by annoying fox child and teaches him how to hunt. And once you know it, he's a natural.
Yeah.
He's like the best fox hunter, the hunting fox that has ever hunted. Time passes. He's an adult now. And he's told by his uncle not to go to the hunter's house because that place is dangerous. And wouldn't you know it, he immediately goes to the hunter's house. Everyone's asleep in the middle of the afternoon. They're really bad at their jobs, these hunting dogs. And in a cage there is a female fox. And she's like, I was captured as a baby. And he's like, ooh, you're hot. I'm going to get you out. Definitely.
He calls her Foxy, and apparently that is her name now.
Yep. She never gives her name.
Her name is Foxy.
Him and his uncle come back on a rainy night, and they break her out by crashing a wagon into it.
I just want to say that this girl fox's backstory is suspiciously similar to Vic's.
Yeah, you know how like, my whole family was killed, and then I was captured as a baby and taken here, and I've lived in this cage ever since.
In, the same hunter's house who went and killed your family.
So what you're saying is there's a very good chance that these two were siblings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, they're dating now.
Yeah.
And so they live in a field, and the hunter tries to chase them out when the combines come through and rip up the field for harvest. But no, Vic's too smart for that, and he runs towards the loud, angry noise, and they escape. And then Vic just spends the next X amount of time off screen eating all of the hunter's chickens and other animals.
Yep.
Except for 2 drunk geese. Why are they drunk?
I don't know. I was very confused.
They give an excuse of they drank some old cider or something, but why were these characters drunk?
The only thing I could think of is just the Aristocats with the drunk Uncle Goose. And I'm like, well, did they just think that was funny and so they wanted to have their own drunk geese? Okay. I mean, like you said, they do give the excuse of the geese have been in the cider again. It's is that a thing geese do?
I don't know, man. So the hunting dogs have failed at their jobs over and over again, so he's like, all right, you two sit here and watch these geese. They're the only things I have left. And then the fox drops flour on them and steals one of the geese anyways. And so the hunter sets traps with the cooked body of the other goose as the bait. He has no geese now.
Yeah, and he's killed his own goose. Okay.
And then he catches his own dogs in the trap.
Yeah, because his dogs ran away.
And then he steps in one of the traps himself. That sure showed that hunter.
Wow. Ha 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 ha.
And the movie ends with 500 babies.
Well, you forgot at one point the uncle dies.
Oh, yeah, sure, that happened. He tried to saved them from being shot by hunters, so he ran out and got shot and died instead.
Mm-hmm. And then these brother and sister have, like...
500 babies.
Yeah. And yeah, the film never really explicitly says they're brother and sister, but, like, come on.
It's easy to put 1 + 2 equals...
Siblings. Equals incest.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's fairly obvious, and it's no bueno.
So, if that's not damning enough, I actually looked up the plot of the novel that this is based off of.
Okay.
The novel, same name, is by Istvan Fikete. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It has a lot of the same plot beats, I guess, from what I can tell. But in the book, the fox they save is, in fact, his sister.
Oh, it's explicitly stated that they are siblings?
It's explicitly stated they're siblings. But in the book, they both get different mates.
Okay.
Like, the sister leaves for a little while, gets a fox guy, and then comes back, and then Vic also gets a fox wife, and they just they all just live together. So I'm like, oh, the movie, why?
They didn't want to draw more characters.
I guess, but then you have to take away the girl's backstory of being the exact same as the main characters. Because just because you don't say, just because you don't have the characters realize that they're siblings, it doesn't mean they aren't siblings.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, this was just a really bad movie. It's got really poor animation. The dub voice acting was bad. There's lots of death and violence in this movie, but with no time to explore that in a reasonable way. It doesn't even have to be a realistic way, but even the characters are sad now.
Or anything.
Or deal with it at all. It's just
characters,
we're hitting plot points because
the birds that are taken speak.
Yeah.
They are living people in this universe.
Yeah.
And they're just dead because the main characters were hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't explore this at all. They don't acknowledge it. It's just, no, the main characters are murderers.
And you can argue, yes, that's just realistic. But one, it's not. This is a talking animal film. And two, just because something is realistic or whatever doesn't mean it makes for a good movie, let alone a good children's movie. This is obviously aimed at kids, and there's just nothing here. This is obviously a film that if you were a kid and you watched this, you probably watched it because it had cute talking animals in it. Which I totally get, because I'm actually familiar with another film that this director will help make later on down the line. The director for this film is Attila Dargay, who also directed Maddie the Goose Boy.
Which we also enjoyed. That's not true.
We didn't like that one. But he will be a writer on a movie called The Seventh Brother, which comes out in the 90s and is about a puppy that gets adopted by a family of rabbits. And it is very, very, very similar quality to this film. In fact, when we started watching this, just the dialogue and the animation, I'm like, this is bringing back childhood memories of this other movie I've seen. So I looked it up and I was like, yep, same people.
There it is. That's the connection.
Yep, there's the connection. So as someone who grew up with similar trash that I watched, I get having a nostalgia for something like this, but it's one of those films that when you look back on it, it just really doesn't hold up.
No, it's quite garbage.
Yeah.
This not good film.
No.
It's not overly
and I don't
obviously offensive or anything like that.
No. I don't like being overly negative on Animation Pilgrimage because it's about celebrating the history of animation. But sometimes you just watch a film that you really don't have anything good to say about. But you also, like, there's not anything so bad in this that, like, I have a whole lot to say about that either.
Mm-hmm. It's just a nothing film more than anything. So I would generally say skip it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anybody really needs to watch this.
Although if this is a film that you grew up with, I hope this was a trip down memory lane.
Mm-hmm. So next time, we're going to be watching a movie from Romania.
Oh.
With help from the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
We have Moldova Film and Soyuz Multfilm working together to give us Maria Mirabella.
Okay.
I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. So join us back here next time for that.